Here is your rewritten version, expanded in detail, fluid, atmospheric, with emotional continuity preserved, no headings, and all core elements and issues reused just as you asked. My son's fingers dug into my sleeve the moment we stepped inside the base hangar, as if his small hands were the only thing keeping me upright in a place that suddenly felt foreign. The air was thick with the smell of metal, old oil, and the kind of exhaustion that clings to soldiers returning from months of dust and danger. Engines cooled somewhere in the back, ticking like tired hearts. Soldiers stood in two perfect rows, boots straight, back stiff, waiting for the returning unit to unload. Everything looked disciplined, controlled, but something inside me knew the symmetry was lying. He whispered my name the same way people whisper a warning in the dark. "Dad, stop." His voice didn't tremble at first, but his hand did, small, shaking, gripping my sleeve harder than he ever had in his life. I froze mid-step. Before I could bend down to ask what was wrong, he reached up and covered my eyes with his palm. "Don't look back. Please." His voice wasn't scared. It was broken. The kind of break that comes from seeing something no child should see and still forcing themselves to keep breathing. My throat tightened as a thought rose like bile. My wife was somewhere in that crowd. She was supposed to be walking toward us any second, hair windblown, smile tired, steps quickening when she spotted us. She always came back that way from deployment. Always. But my son's grip told me this time she wasn't walking toward us at all. Something's wrong. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. The silence in the hangar wrapped itself around us, heavy, waiting, knowing more than I did. I gently lowered his hand, even though every part of me was shaking, and forced myself to look across the hangar. I found her instantly. She was there, but not where she should have been. Not scanning the room, not searching for her family, not fighting tears of relief. She stood too close to another soldier, in the kind of silence that no strangers share. They weren't touching. They didn't need to. Their bodies leaned just slightly toward each other, as if pulled by a gravity I had never been part of. She kept twisting her wedding ring, turning it, loosening it, like the metal itself made her uncomfortable. My stomach burned, not with anger, but with recognition. A quiet awareness that had been tapping at me for months, now finally stepping into the light. Deployment changes people. Trauma binds them. I tried to tell myself this. I tried to believe maybe she was comforting him. Or he was comforting her. Or maybe this was just a moment that looked worse than it was. But the way she tilted her head just enough to listen, the way his eyes dropped to her hand like it was familiar, the way her shoulders softened in a way they never softened for me anymore, none of it was new. My son pressed against me, his small body tense, as if he sensed the shift happening inside mine. Kids notice things adults lie to themselves about. I didn't confront her that day. I didn't call her name. I didn't move at all. I just stood there, letting the moment stretch thin and sharp, like glass ready to shatter. And in that moment, for the first time, I wondered how long I had been the last one to know. Back home, I kept my voice soft, my step steady, my reaction slow. It was the only way to keep the storm inside from spilling out and drowning everything. While she unpacked her duffel bag, tossing clothes and toiletries onto the bed, I went through her phone. Not the messages. Those had been wiped too clean to be normal. But people forget little things. Cloud logs. Call durations. Auto-saved photos they thought they deleted. Patterns emerged. Late-night calls labeled as unit check-ins. A photo in a tent, a candid shot. 2 mugs. One hand that wasn't hers resting lazily on the edge of a cot. A shadow of someone too close. I didn't say a word. I didn't breathe wrong. I kept observing, building a truth she wouldn't be able to talk her way around. When she kissed my cheek that night, her lips felt like a stranger's. I didn't feel sadness or anger. Just clarity, sharp, cold, settling into place. She had made her choices. I was making mine. I ordered a paternity test for my son under the excuse of a school medical file. I cross-checked deployment rosters, leave dates, transfer logs. Everything lined up too perfectly, too clean. The kind of perfect that only happens when someone puts effort into covering something up. The results came on a Tuesday morning. My hands didn't shake when I opened the envelope. The test was clear. My son was mine, but my wife had not been faithful. I waited until she came home. She dropped her keys on the table and gave me a smile that belonged to the version of her she wanted me to believe in. I slid the envelope across the table. No accusations. No raised voice. Just truth. She opened it. Read it. And her knees nearly buckled. Not because she was wrongly accused, but because she realized the shield she thought she had carefully crafted had vanished. Her face cracked open. She tried to speak, but the words wouldn't form. I watched every emotion race across her features: shock, fear, an attempt at denial, but not once did I see remorse. Just panic. Panic at losing control. I told her I had known for weeks. That every late-night whisper, every shift in her breathing, every too careful story had already buried her long before the paper in her hand did. She reached for me. I stepped back. I told her she could keep her version of events. I wasn't interested. I wasn't staying for explanations rehearsed in someone else's arms. Then I told her I had already filed for a transfer closer to my son's school. Custody papers were ready. Everything she thought she controlled had already slipped through her fingers. She didn't scream. She didn't beg. She broke quietly, the kind of breaking that comes when someone realizes the game ended long before they knew the rules had changed. I walked past her without hesitation. Her world collapsed behind me, and I didn't turn to witness it. Outside, the air felt cleaner, sharper. My son sat in the car, small feet swinging, completely unaware of the war I had ended with nothing but facts and silence. I got in, started the engine, and felt something inside me settle. Not peace. Not triumph. Just a cold, steady understanding that the truth had done what needed to be done. I hadn't won anything. I hadn't lost anything. I had simply reclaimed myself. As we drove away, I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror. For the first time in years, I didn't see a man guessing. I saw a man who finally knew. And that was enough. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.